Have you ever thought about how you're able to watch this video right now? You might say it's because of the router, but that's not the complete answer. You could say the internet comes from a company, but that's still not entirely clear for the whole world. In fact, this is just a superficial opinion and not the reality. Welcome to the Curious Corner. Today, we'll answer the question, where does the internet come from? In the beginning, let us be clear that there is no country or specific entity that determines who will use the internet and who will not. No entity is able to cut off the internet from the world, and this is simply because the internet's most important feature is participation and public ownership. The story of the internet goes back to the 1950s, specifically in America. The subject began when they wanted to connect devices to each other, even if, for a short time, for the purpose of military use. If a war broke out, the main thing was to connect computers together. Indeed, by 1969, the Advanced Research Projects Agency, ARPA, succeeded in establishing a correspondence network called ARPANET. They were able to send two messages, one from the University of California and the other from the Stanford Research Laboratory, both in the same state. This marked the beginning of the internet, from which everything related to the internet started. You might wonder how the U.S. Department of Defense was involved in creating internet facilities, yet the internet is not the property of any single entity. Let's explain the idea of ownership of the internet by going back in time. If we consider the matter accurately, it's clear that the internet is not the property of any one entity. Each part of the internet, in the process of sending or receiving data, relies on the other parts. Essentially, there is no single source of the internet. Though America played a significant role in its origin, it is not the source of the internet worldwide. Instead, the internet is a system of transmission and reception. The internet is now a large information network connecting all countries, allowing the exchange of information between them. This network connects countries either through submarine cables or satellites, but it mainly relies on cables. A vast network of copper cables connects countries, traversing deserts, mountains, seas, and oceans. These cables end at servers that follow protocols or a unified common language, enabling devices to understand each other and achieve communication. When these main cables enter a country, they branch into several smaller cables. These branches are distributed by large companies within each country, which then deliver the internet to their customers. Does this mean that America plays a key role in all networks? If the connection between the countries of the world and America were cut off, the internet would not disappear worldwide. Countries like Canada, which has its own network, would continue to communicate naturally. The only impact would be the inability to communicate with anyone in America due to the lack of connecting networks. In the case of a disconnection from America, we would still be able to reach other platforms and sites as long as there is an internet connection between us and the country hosting the site. Many countries have their alternatives to popular platforms. For example, in China, they have Youku instead of YouTube and Baidu instead of Google. In Russia, VK is more popular than Facebook. In conclusion, the internet belongs to everyone and no one at the same time. It is a global system of interconnected networks. So, where does the internet come from? It comes from all of us, through a shared and interconnected system. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to get everything new from the Curious Corner.